When you think of the word vulnerability, what comes up for you? That is what we're going to be talking about today. For me, when I think of that word, I think of weakness and feeling unsafe. And I think of needing to protect. But when I think of other people being vulnerable, I think of being attracted to them and what they have to say and who they are as a person. I think of strength. I think of drive. Have you ever thought of vulnerability being a power, being a superpower? Let's talk about this. Welcome to Wellness in Every Season. We talk all things wellness to help you align with your goals, find balance in your life, and just recalibrate yourself. If you are listening for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And let's get started in the rest of the podcast. The people that I trust the most, that I feel won't lead me astray, and that will be there for me, even if I don't personally know them. Somebody who can feel a little bit more like rock. They are the people who are vulnerable and authentic. It's so much strength in being vulnerable. How many times, because I've been reading a lot of books lately, have you read a book, watched a movie, watched a TV show, watched somebody else out in the real world and gone, if you were just vulnerable for just a little bit, it would have made all the difference. I'm totally going to misquote the movie, and if my husband hears this podcast, he's going to laugh at me because it's going to be wrong. It's from We Bought a Zoo, where you need 10 seconds of bravery. He's talking to his son who has a crush on a girl, and just how he needs that little bit of just step out of your own way and just say how you feel. There's so much power here. When you are vulnerable, people hear you with different ears. They're no longer hearing you with their brain. They're hearing you with their heart. That makes such a difference because it brings it back down to intention. So many of us look at life through this filter of, will this hurt me? Is this safe for me? And honestly, with that judgment filter, because we are judging those things, right? Is it safe for me? Is this factual for me? Will this work for me? Is this just more data that I don't need, so I'm mostly ignoring what you're saying? That type of thinking, that, you know what I'm talking about? We've all been there. But when we are around somebody who's speaking from their heart and being truly open and vulnerable, it does make it so that they're more open to being hurt. But it also breaks down a lot of walls within the person we're talking to. And it can bring us to having that heart-to-heart connection. And then later, that mind-to-mind connection makes a really big difference. Have you had people that you truly value who think differently than you and have different morals and values? Why is that? Is it possible that there was a moment in your relationship where they were, or you were, extremely vulnerable and it was reciprocated? It's usually what causes it. I have had this with several friendships, and even with my husband, it's made such huge difference. I'm reading a book right now where The author has some really great truth bombs in there, but it has dragons in it, and it has two characters who are recovering from trauma, and it's a romance. Both these characters are drawn to each other, and the one character just gets the main character so well and gives her space while she's having her anxiety attacks and while her past demons are speaking to her. Because how many of us, when we have those voices in our head, it's not actually ours, it's our parents or whoever was abusive to us. That's what's going on for her in her head. And the other character gives her the space and time, and then sometimes is there in front of her face. Let me help you out. Let me be vulnerable with you so you can be vulnerable. The space isn't working. You need this right now. It's been fun to read and share with my husband. I like this series so much because he reminds me of you when I have gone through that and I don't know what's true and what's not within my head. I just keep building up those walls and thickening them, realizing that I need to let him in because he's my safe space. And that I need to be vulnerable and share those things because it goes back to that whole Brene Brown with shame, where shame keeps us holed up within ourselves. And as soon as we share it with somebody else, it brings that light in and it dispels that darkness and those myths. And we realize that it wasn't as bad as the voices in our head were telling us that it was. She says it so much better. I can give you the concept without the actual quote. That's why I like putting them in my newsletter, and I say exactly where it came from because I can copy and paste that and cite the source. But that goes vulnerability and shame. If you think of it, they're opposite sides of the coin, right? When we are vulnerable, it can get rid of that shame. It can give us that space to heal. It can give us that space to look at it from a different perspective. Because when we are so stuck inside of ourselves and we're not sharing that with other people, we're not being vulnerable to this world, it makes us look at things in more of a zoomed in standpoint. When we have other people that we can be vulnerable with, that we can feel safe with, it helps us be able to zoom out and look at things from a different perspective. How many times have you heard somebody complaining and you're like, all you need to do is just change this one little thing? And they don't see it because they are stuck in their own stuff. And some of the time it's because what they're complaining about isn't even actually the problem. They just need to feel seen. And then they'll get to what the actual problem is. It's that whole iceberg idea. Also, it helps us when we're being vulnerable to discover who are safe people to be vulnerable around. You just need to give a little bit and then see, are you safe? No, you're not. Okay, I'm going to try this out with somebody else. When you find the right person, you can start to share things. Finding that one person leads you to finding other people. And you can find your safe space. There's so much value to it. Even if it's somebody that you need to pay for with therapy or with coaching, it will more than 10x the path that you're on, or change the path that you're on to become one that is authentic and true to you. So let's think about this. Who are your safe people? And what can you do to open yourself up more to them? And also allow them to have the space to open themselves. What's holding you back? And the good and bad about finding somebody like that you can be vulnerable with and they can be vulnerable back, is that there will be times and chances to have the no BS conversations. Like, you are totally lying to yourself right here. Let's fix it. because those are the people that you really need in your corner, not the people who tell you you're right no matter what. It can feel good, but sometimes it doesn't. And most of the time, it doesn't work and it's not right. And you're stuck. Sharing vulnerability helps you get unstuck, helps you let go of that stress, helps you develop who you are and really reach inside yourself to who the core of you is. In between all those layers and masks and everything that help you survive, all the survival mechanisms, having those people around you helps you to be vulnerable within yourself and really drill into core of who I am, the soul, my spirit of who I am. Who is that? So that's what this episode is all about. How do you become more vulnerable? And how do you become comfortable being more vulnerable? It's really an experience at a time, a step at a time, not a light switch. If it were a light switch, you would turn it on and be super vulnerable and have a bad experience and turn it right back off. So allow it to be small steps. Know that that's okay. And know that it will bring you closer to where you're meant to be. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope that you found the answers that you needed and you had some amazing aha moments. Please share this episode with others because it helps us align ourselves and then better align the world so that we can seek the healing that we really are looking for. As part of the legal language, I am a certified life coach with a bachelor's in applied health. That is what I am leaning on for this. This is general advice. Take it as such. See you in the next episode.